So Australia has become the first country to ban social media for under-16s. Australia just voted into law a social media ban for children under the age of 16. Now, this legislation was approved by Australian lawmakers with the aim of protecting the mental health of children online, despite opposition from tech companies who claim that the rules are unworkable. This ban aims to address the impact of social media use on children's physical and mental health, affecting social media platforms including X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and Reddit. But here's a caveat. YouTube is not included in this. This new law, set to take effect in 12 months, will give social media companies time to comply with the new requirements, including taking reasonable steps to prevent children under a certain age from creating accounts as well. Now, while children and their parents won't face penalties for breaking these rules, the responsibility will fall on the platform providers. While the law doesn't specify which platforms it targets, it's expected to apply to major sites like Facebook, as I mentioned, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, according to the Prime Minister as well. Educational sites like YouTube and messaging apps like WhatsApp will be exempt, but here's the fine print. The law does not detail how tech companies will enforce these age restrictions, but those that fail to comply could face fines up to 50 million AUD, that's around 32.4 million US dollars. It also doesn't require users to upload government IDs for age verification. And I must also inform you, and you must keep in mind, that a recent YouGov survey found that 77% of Australians actually support this new measure. And similar proposals to increase age limits on social media are also being considered in places like Norway and Florida. But for the latest and ground report from Australia, let's go across to Professor Amanda Third, who joins us at the moment. She's actually a research fellow and co-director at the Young and Resilient Research Centre. Thanks so much, Amanda, for making time for us on NDTV. Really appreciate your time. What are the initial reactions to this new law? We're actually hearing the critics are warning of unintended consequences, including potential harm to vulnerable young people who rely on social media for community and support. But is this being hailed as a landmark law?
So it is indeed being hailed by the government as a world-first piece of legislation, but I think it's really important that international audiences understand that this really is a piece of legislation that is motivated by local, domestic, political and economic interests, and arguably has not had children and young people at the heart of its design. It's been pushed through incredibly quickly without proper consultation, either with the large expert community here in Australia or with the children and young people who will be impacted by this new legislation. It is very much, I think, about getting parents on board and garnering votes for the upcoming federal election.
Would you then say that this is actually not going to help under-16s? Is it not going to help the cause of physical and mental sort of shielding the youth?
Yes, as the expert community has been saying very loudly from the outset, we believe that there are much better ways to ensure that we can protect children's and young people's mental health online, and to hold technology platforms to account for their responsibilities, not just to children and young people, but also to their families. I think, by evicting children from social media, we actually remove all impetus for holding technology companies to account for their responsibilities. We let them off the hook, essentially. We're much better pursuing much more fine-grained regulatory instruments like a statutory duty of care, which has also been proposed by the government, and a children's privacy code, another piece of legislation that's been endorsed by the government overnight. Unfortunately, though, the proposed ban, or the legislated ban, I should say, if it does come into effect in 12 months' time,